Ching, ching, ching. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I'm just going to go live. Just going to go live, see what happens. Welcome to the Paris Set Me Free show. Oh, that's wrong. So there's the beginning. This is a new beginning. It's the Creative Smartphone Photography Show with Sab in Paris. Hello, hello. How are you doing? I've just got back from Paris and I've been taking photos. So I hope that I'm going to, one second, I'm just going to plug this into the big fancy internet thing in case it's a better connection. I know you can hear me, but you never know. I'm just going to scrabble around on the ground. Hello, it's me again. All right, just so that's the Ethernet plugged in. How are you doing? How are you doing? No, it's not chaos. No. I'm rocking. You might think this is a bit strange, but do you know what I'm going to do with this? Do you have any idea what I'm going to do with this beauty? Hang on. There you go. Well, I'm going to do this. Cheers, everyone. How are you doing today? This is I think it was a lens, but it's not a lens anymore. It's a, I would show you, but I pour coffee all over my computer. Yeah. So cheers. What are you wearing? What sort of drinkswear are you wearing tonight? So yeah, I've been to Paris. Let me just show you a photograph before we get down to business. A little photograph that I prepared earlier. It's in progress. Don't know if you can see that at all. It's don't know if it's going to focus on that. It's not too bad actually. Guess what? What can you see there? Four of my favorite things for taking photographs. Paris love locks. One of those nice Paris lampposts. A Paris bridge, the supposedly romantic one called 𝘚𝘢𝗛𝗡𝗘 𝗣𝗛𝗢, the Arts Bridge. The Eiffel Tower in the background there. Can you see the Eiffel Tower sticking up? And a woman with a red hat. Always try to get a woman with a red hat in your photographs. It'll just make the world of difference. And I've got a few others as well. So we're going to look. Oh, someone said hello. Two people said hello. Alison says, evening, Sab. Great. And I know you're Alison. Diane says, hello, Sab. Happy to catch you here. Nice to see you, Diane. We're going to spend an hour looking at photographs, if that's okay with you guys. Lots of comments, please, especially on the photographs I'm showing you. What do you think? And especially, why do you like them? Or you could even say why you don't like them, but obviously, probably more fun to say why you like them. One particular aspect of them. Okay, and then I can talk about that. Or maybe you think it could have been better in a different way. All right. Hello, Bear. Hello, Bear. Thanks for coming along. Right. So today, the theme for the last week was house numbers. And I was a bit nervous about it. Wasn't sure if people would know what I meant, find any house numbers, make them look artistically pretty. Now, there's a danger here. I'm not sure if it's a danger, but this is the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. You don't strictly have to take your photos on a smartphone, but that's the theme. And that word creative, that means don't take photographs which are just snaps. Try to do something with them, even if it's just changing the angle a little bit. So that's what I'm looking for. The danger with house numbers is we could, including me, produce some stunningly banal, boring photographs of numbers on walls. So let's see if you did, or if you managed to do something with them. And I think you will be pleasantly surprised. Nazanin is here. Hello, Nazanin. Everybody who's watching, please say hello. Where are you from? What are you doing? What was the last amazing photograph you took? I'd love to know. Right, so let's I haven't actually set this up yet. So just got back from Paris. So I'm going to try and share my screen and look at your photographs from the challenge. We need a new challenge as well. There's lots going on today. We need a new challenge chosen, please. New challenge chosen. And I've given you some options. Okay, here we go. Right, you should be able to see my screen now. Let me just go to the options first of all. Oh my God, that's amazing. Alison. Hang on, I'm looking for the options. I've got some latecomers here. Here we go. So before the end of the show, if possible, could you vote? I've given you 4 possibilities for next week's theme. Birds, blue, the color blue, corners, which is winning at the moment, and windows. So go to the Creative Smartphone Photography Group Facebook page and vote for 2 of those. Vote for 2, then we'll choose the one probably by the end. So corners is more of an odd one, you know, it's more of an abstract one. And it could be anything, couldn't it? It could be the corner of a street. You could be looking down from a building, people standing on a corner. It could be the corner of a book. It could be your favorite corner in your house. I don't know. And things I haven't thought of. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you choose for that. If you have any suggestions for a future theme, put it in the comments and I'll add it to the list. It'll be one of the choices for next time. Right. So I'm going to go directly to the numbers. And Alison does have a number here. She says, Creative Quarter of Digbeth in Birmingham, UK. Birmingham, sorry, used to be an industrial area. I know Alison loves industrial areas, getting sort of down and grimy. The video doorbell is not really needed with this eye watching you. That is a great photograph. I mean, now there's 2 ways of saying that it's great. The subject is great and the photograph is great. So, you know, we're playing with each of those. Obviously, I've got an eye, you know me, and I don't just look at a boring shot of a stunning subject and say it's a great shot. I say it's a great subject, like a great piece of art, but if you've taken it straight on, well, it's the person who painted the art that I'm appreciating more than your photo. Here, Alison's got a great angle on this great subject, because it is a great subject. Look at that eye. The angle is, she's got close to the wall with the face. The door is still there. The 21 is there. So we've got the number for the theme. But because the face is so interesting, she's gone to the left and got in close. So it becomes relatively bigger. And the door in the background is just great as well. You've played with the colors, I think, because it looks really punchy. I absolutely love it. Right, let's go for another one. So that's a very late comer. Well done, Alison. Just got the memo. This is Beatrice, and Beatrice has done something beautiful. When she goes for it, she really goes for it. And you know, she's got a real pride of doing what she's decided to do well, or to the best of her ability. She really, you know, she really takes it on. It's totally voluntary. You know, she's not going to, you don't really win a prize. She's not going to be graded on it, and yet she goes for it. And she's done a great job. This is in her local town, which is in the suburbs of Paris. And so many different types of numbers. She's got the angle sort of bug, I think, because there's loads of great angles in there. I don't think there's one image has been taken straight on. So so good for you. Dorothy is looking in from France. Great, Dorothy. We'll see your pictures in a minute. We've got Alison saying, thank you, Sab. You're welcome. Well, thank you for that great shot. So look at that. She's done the set of photographs, and then she's gone and put them together in a beautiful display. So I would say from that as a whole, I'm thinking angles, cool angles. You could also say most of the numbers are not in the middle. That's another common fault, putting the subject, which in this case is the number, slap bang in the middle. It's like portraits. You know, you want to take a portrait that's worth anything, you're probably not going to have the subject's face slap bang in the middle of the photo, with exceptions. Okay, tell me which you like so far. I'd love to hear from you. Which photographs are you digging at the moment? Just see if there's any. Okay, sometimes people slip in photographs into this. I haven't even seen this, Nazanin. She's in a lovely part of London with these very classical buildings. And it's almost a black and white photograph, isn't it? Apart from a hint of green and a hint of bluey, turquoisey on that lovely porch thing, awning, with 3 17s. So down in the bottom left, lovely, isn't it? Very striking photograph. Let's carry on. So Jean has submitted a couple of sort of almost spacey ones. I think she says it's for futuristic looking address on a science building. And in a technology park in Skokie. I always love the name of where she lives, Skokie. It sounds like it should be from a cartoon or something. And yeah, the numbers, although they look like they're almost computer numbers. And she did another one with a different background. I love the composition there. It's almost like an arrow pointing to the bottom left with the sort of button on it, with a really nice green, blue, and red background to it. Love that diagonal line there. If you have any questions or if you would like any specific feedback, let me know. I'm going to go quite fast because I think I don't get enough photographs in. Right, Dorothy's done a beautiful composition. Yes, it's one composition. Beatrice was a bit envious. Why? Because she said, Dorothy always does her photographs the same size. Well, okay, well, you can do them the same size as well if you like. So she was a bit envious of that. But then again, you know, different sizes is good as well, isn't it? Just take a sip from my lens here. If you've just joined me, I've got so much money from my photography that I can make lenses which cost, you know, 3,000 euros into cups if I want to. Cheers. Drinking from a zoom 28 to 135 millimeter today. Aperture 2.5. Right. Dorothy said, I said the 107 reminds me of the bus that went past my house when I was a kid. She said it's an angel number which is all about creativity and a bunch of other stuff. So I'll take them both, you know, I'll take them both. I like the nostalgia thing though. Isn't it funny? Just a random 3-figure number. Suddenly I'm back in the little house, the first house I ever remember, with the bus going past the 107 and all the memories that go with it. So she's done a good job there. She said she went for a number walk, which I thought was rather sweet. Going for a number walk. I just went for a number walk in Paris, but it didn't quite work because I was also going for a sticking these little things on bridges walk. I've been sticking these on bridges. My last Ukraine squares, puzzle pieces. If you want one, go to 𝑖2c.life, and you can get your own and contribute to a little fund for Ukraine. It's my current charity thing. They're pretty scary, I think you'll admit, but does he want to focus? Yeah, there you go. Jean already has one on a tree outside her house in America, somewhere in America. Okay, so I'm putting the last ones up on bridges in Paris. You can have one if you want to adopt one. 𝑖2c.life. Right, back to business. So I was doing that. I was looking for a couple of Paris curiosities, women on bridges with red hats. So I didn't get too many new numbers. That's life. Did you like the theme, by the way? People, can you tell me if you did the theme, did you like it? Did you find it difficult? Was it tricky to find numbers that interested you, or was it easy? Did you get into a kind of a number zone and all you saw was numbers, which is what happens sometimes when you have a theme in mind. You notice things which you didn't even realize were there. Chris says roadside mailbox. I was saying to Jean that I thought there might be really cool numbers all over in the States because there are a lot of cool letterboxes, but then I think that's more in the suburbs actually. So we've got a double one. We've got a letterbox and a number with a special effect, I think, unless you've taken it through a wire mesh or something. Thanks for playing, Chris. And here's Jean's other futuristic one. Thank you, thank you. I'll move on. Now, I want you to realize that you don't have to just put the week's theme in the group. You can contribute any photograph at any time. Okay, just put it in the group, new post with a comment, and you know, share your photographs, If you want feedback, ask for it, comment on other people's. So this was me going for a wander in a park near Paris, and I looked across and I suddenly saw an amazing sunset, the Eiffel Tower, and some birds just waiting in the sky for me to photograph them. So I did. I'll make that bigger, shall I? There you go. Sunset through the Paris pollution. There you go. You know, I don't know about you guys, but it hasn't rained here for about 17 years. And I just realized, I saw it on the news the other day, we're in a drought in March in Paris. It's kind of weird. And especially in the south of France, I think, where, you know, crops are starting to have problems. Not that crops really grow in February, but pretty weird stuff going on at the moment. What's the weather like where you are? You know, you're not going to talk to me about anything else. I'm going to ask you what the weather's like. I am British, remember? Weather is a real subject, people. Chris says numbers aren't too clear, but there's the thing again. Did we ever say that it just has to be a picture of a number? In fact, just a picture of a number is probably about the most boring thing you could do. So Chris has actually got a house. She's taken a photograph of her house, I assume, which says Monster House. I'm not going to judge her, you know, if she wants to call her house Monster House. No, I'm joking. I don't think it's her house. And I'm also amazed at how big American numbers are. How can you have streets with like 5,000 houses? Because they have like 4-digit numbers quite often, don't you? 1072 Main Street or something. Acacia Avenue. Was that an Iron Maiden song? I don't know. But, you know, in Paris, I'm lucky if I get into double numbers and occasionally triple, but then they're really boring blue ones. I've got this project, you see. There's a kind of, okay, I haven't come clean with you, to be honest. This theme, which I did choose the one that was voted by the most people, but I have this sort of slumbering theme in the background, which is Paris street numbers, which are not normal. In other words, most normal numbers in Paris on the walls are big white numbers on a blue background. Very nice. It's ceramic blue sometimes. It's rather pretty. Nice blue. Moving towards Klein blue, you know, if you know what that is, which is a stunning blue. So it's nice enough, but they're all like that. So well, I've got this project photographing Paris numbers, which are not that standard. Why don't you have a project like that as well? And this is where my first grid is at. Is this it? Yeah. So there's my first grid. You see I'm missing some. I'm missing number 1, which sounds this is a bit crap, isn't it? I'm missing number 3. I'm missing number 7. And I've got grids going off towards 100 because I like 9. In my mind, I've got 9 times 9, which is 81. So I'm thinking I'm really going, my big achievement will be 9 grids of 9 numbers. The numbers from 1 to 81, all different, not a single blue plaque in sight. Although blue plaques can be nice, and we have one coming up. So, you know, anything can be a theme, really. And you'll notice that it's not just the number that counts. The number can be pretty, but the background, the railings, are, you know, like on number 8, the railings behind make a great background. There's railings zooming out from every side of the number, which is nice. The 9 is covered in ivy, which is cute. And then you get a glimpse through the trees there, or through the ivy, of the sort of house it might belong to. Number 6 is extremely historical. Actually, I don't know if it can be extremely historical. You know, it's like saying incredibly good. I don't know. It's like one of those tautology. What's the thing where you say the same thing twice? You know, I mean, it's historical. They're not like that anymore. This was a time, this was one of the attempts at numbering Paris houses. This should be on the Paris show, really. A lot of my stories linked to my Paris photographs can also be on the Paris show. And one of their attempts at some vaguely logical numbering scheme was to have one color of I think it was black on orange or black on yellow was for streets parallel to the River Seine, and then it was black on white or something for streets perpendicular to the River Seine. You know, I don't know if it makes sense or not. And then there's another interesting thing, and that is that the numbering system, I think, runs towards the Seine, so that the smallest numbers are near the Seine, and as the road goes away from the Seine, they get bigger. So that's kind of, I think it was back in the days where they didn't really have geography or maps and stuff, and they had to invent these systems where you could have a vague idea of where you were just by looking at things like the order of numbers. Although, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. So anyway, you've got to be inventive. You see, look, that the 2 is cute. It looks like it's almost hand drawn. And but the flowers, you know, add the flowers, for goodness sake. And the green goes lovely with the red, don't you think? This is a funny one. There's 2 numbers for the same building. Go figure. Don't know why. Could be that it's on a corner and it's trying to have sort of be part of 2 roads. We're number 4 in this road, but we're number 22 on this one. And the green ceramic and the red is beautiful, with a little hint of a mosaic down there in the bottom right. Anyway, that's pretty small. You probably can't see what I'm talking about. Right, back to business. So Monster Chris is done. This is Thomas. So we got a Facebook user. I don't know who you are. I think our numbers are bigger because they need to be seen from the street. When I said bigger, what I meant was like really big numbers, like 1,020, 1,000, 2,070. That's what I meant by big. So, but maybe they're bigger as well in size. Also, this might be Chris. Also, our streets may have higher numbers. Higher. There you go. Because we have, I knew there was a word for it, long streets often running through many towns. Okay. Yeah, well, that's definitely something we don't have in France. We have one town ends and the road ends, and another town starts, and you could have the same road in different towns. In fact, there are certain very famous people like, you know, General de Gaulle, or I don't know, people that are famous for some reason, but I'm not quite sure why. They seem to have a street in every town. Every town has Rue Paul Bert, Paul Bert. Who was Paul Bert? I don't know, but he's got roads, that's for sure. Émile Zola has a lot of roads. Victor Hugo, he has tons of avenues or boulevards. I don't know. He's all over the place. But they stop when you get to the edge of the town. They don't carry on. We have streets that also run north and south or east and west. Yeah, when I look at a map of streets in the States, I'm amazed because they look like, well, they are grids, aren't they? They're incredible grids. Of the type you don't really get here, not so much. So this is Thomas with his great logo down in the bottom left, 23 because it's year 23 of the common century, and TR because it's Thomas. And he's got 33. Oh, no, it isn't. It's number 3 with the shadow. Thomas has a group for shadows, vivid shadows and silhouettes. Join his group if you like. Oh, God. So Beatrice is saying, my street is on 3 cities. You mean it goes through 3 towns, or there are 3 towns which have 3 different versions of the same street, all starting from 1? I was going to say starting from 0. Okay, interesting. All right, so Thomas, thanks for checking in. Haven't seen too much of you recently. That's nice. I like it. Love the shadow effect and that grimy sort of grungy handle there as well. Okay, Dorothy's checking in with number. Now she says, I was more fascinated about the wholeness. What is more than the numbers? In the second picture, the blue shutters in the background took my attention. This is her 107 bus number. She doesn't want me to call it that, I think. And here's another version of it. Which do you prefer? The same street for 3 towns. Beatrice is saying the same street for 3 towns. So you're saying, okay, so the street continues, just the numbers getting higher and higher. See, I've learned a new word there, thanks to a Facebook user who said that I should be saying higher. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. This is almost moving towards, I don't know, infrared or something strange, a strange there. It certainly looks hot anyway. And she says, so as the naughty girl I am, or the one who doesn't follow the instructions, Dorothy, again, I post one with the blue shutters and one without. Yeah. Well, you know, you've got a picture. If you're more interested in the shutters than the number, that's okay. Doesn't matter, does it? You know, whatever happens, happens. And you'll often go looking for one thing and you'll find another. But at least you're out there. At least you're being creative. That often happens to me. In fact, I often not go out not knowing what I'm looking for. Having a theme is actually unusual for me. I mean, I have themes in the back of my mind, but very rarely, until we started up the weekly themes again, did I go out with something specific in mind. So that's two different modes of taking photographs. One, I know what I want, and I'm looking for it, although I sometimes get sidetracked. And one, I have no idea what I want, and I see what happens. So Beatrice is saying towns, yes, okay. I like the one with the blue shutters, but it's a bit of red that stands out for me. Let's have a look at that. Maybe it's the red on top of the thing here with the statue. Now, which do I prefer? Well, they're very different to start with, you know, and one isn't better than the other. What do I prefer? Which has got nothing to do with anything except me. Don't know. I generally like ones which are moved away from reality. They've moved towards a kind of dreamland, because that's my objective with my photographs. Somewhere between grim reality and a strange fantasy land is what I'm looking for. Somewhere between. Doesn't have to be completely crazy. So I am always attracted by fun effects. That's more of a literal interpretation. So in my new project, well, it's not new anymore, my Lake District project, I tend to sometimes stay a bit closer to reality. If I'm taking a beautiful red letterbox, for example, in a country lane, I might not want to turn it into some weird fantasy thing, because I'm losing the charm of the actual village that I'm taking. So I kind of like this one. Yeah, more natural. And the statue's nice. And the number is nice. And the tree is nice. Olive tree, is it? And the shutters are nice. There you go. Let's move on. This is me sharing a photograph of mine. And this is me trying to inspire you. These are new. These were not from the past. Went out, had numbers in mind, wasn't very impressed with what I found, because I didn't have time to go to the really cool places in Paris, where I know they're almost like little villages in Paris. But if you go down a couple of back streets, you get away from the big white numbers on blue. You've got a hint. You see the reflection of it is a Paris building. People might recognize it if they live in Paris, even though this is very modern. And then this one was next to it, near it. You might not believe that this is in Paris. It doesn't look like Haussmannian architecture, does it? Well, it isn't. It's a little street which is well known for photography. I mean, for photographers being in there. And I went down there on a random grayish afternoon, and there was a young lady with nice clothes on directing her mother to be careful that she doesn't look too big in I don't know what she was doing, but there was a sort of amateur photo shoot going on as I went down there. And so that's the sort of street it is. There's a sign at each end saying, "No photographs, stop irritating the residents," but it doesn't work. I was disappointed, because all of the numbers except this one were actually boring. But then you throw in the pink wall, and then you throw in a little bit of an angle. Of course, I'm looking up at it because I'm below it. I'm not as high as the number. You've got this really cool cross, this pink cross. And the flip side of that is you've got little corners in varying sizes coming in. So I filled each corner of the photograph with a bit of a window. And it's interesting, because down the bottom left, it's very small. So it's a small little corner. This one is much longer, but it's the same shape, because it's the same continuation here. This is a nice triangle coming in at the top there. The line goes across, and then you've got a much bigger one in the bottom right with the number sitting on top. So in photography, always be looking, or I'm always looking for contrast. It could be contrast of color, but very often it's contrast of size. You want to play with that. I could have done something where I was looking straight on as I could, and filled each corner with exactly the same size of the bit, but I wanted the number to be as prominent as possible. So I moved over to the right, so that I was closer to the number than this window in the top left, for example. And so the number was prominent. But then I tried to play with the composition and get a nice composition, which this cross has turned out nice, I think. I wish I could say something similar for the 26, but it's really just a picture of the 26. Although I did spot afterwards the reflection of the prison building in the window, so that was a bit of a bonus. But I'm more pleased with the pink shot than the other one, because there's artistry in there. I was able to do something with it. To be honest, the 26, I just took a photograph of it. Any more comments? Any more comments? Blue Shutters. Did you know there's a song by 𝘚𝘢𝗣, the first song that blew my mind by him, or one of, which is called Satin Green Shutters? I don't know which town in France you'd have to go to find satin green shutters, but 𝘚𝘚𝗣, check it out. You might think it's unbelievably vomit-inducingly sweet and sickly, or you might think it's the most beautiful song you've ever heard in your life. Jury's still out. This is great. I love this because it takes me back to my London days. How are we doing for time? Okay, it's halfway. I'm going to move on to my photographs now and other random stuff as soon as I can. So I love this. I love the it's not a font, is it? You don't call it fonts. This was written before fonts. Well, typeface. No, I don't think anyone had a big typewriter for that either. Anyway, the text looks nice. Love it. And it takes me back to my London days. Straight on shot, in your face. Oh, those old brick buildings. Makes me nostalgic. I'm going to go back soon and probably see a few of those. How do I get out of this? Oh, she's taken me off to her Google thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, another couple. This is a good example. This is almost what I was telling you about the standard Paris and suburbs number. And yet I love the text face of this, the 4 and the 7. They're really cool. Sort of moving towards Art Nouveau, isn't it? And the grime. Love that grime. I think it's part originally grimy and part grimy effect, and that's what you get. I might possibly have done something. It really seems really close to the bottom, and I'm not quite sure why it's so close to the bottom without, I don't know. I'm just wondering about it. I should give a bit more feedback on your photographs, really, shouldn't I? This is 𝘚𝘢 again, the most enthusiastic, the most contributing member of the group. You get the prize, 𝘚𝘢. You contributed the most. And this one is a real favorite of mine. I love the repetition of the 88. One is the classic Paris number. The other is not at all. It's a mosaic. Both in the same picture, bottom right corner, top left. Bit of, I don't know, classic sort of architecture there on the left. And a crazy orange effect. Orange and blue, complementary colors. Thanks for playing on that one. And I think we're there. We are probably at the end. This is me. This is Ronnie. Let's not forget Ronnie. This was another of mine, taken before the thing. So this, I think Ronnie was about the first contributor. In Australia, this is her gate. I have a number and a letter on my house. And I love, she's got in really close, big, strong angle. The railings going off into the distance. Great. And this was me saying, look, this is the cutest number I've ever seen. Obviously made by a kid, I would say, although my stuff looks like this as well. Looks like there's a little butterfly on the 7. I think there's a little bee on the 1. That's just so cute. There we are. Right, I'm going to stop there. Thank you, everybody, for contributing. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. I was, slightly worried, and in the end, you contributed tons. So what are we going to vote for? What are you going to go for? Don't forget, this is the, why don't you just write in the comments what you think would be a good one and why? Where is it? Yeah, look, this is what we've got. What do you think? Birds, blue, corners, windows. I want you to vote on these. I'm just going to refresh this and see if we have any more votes. It's in the group. Go there, vote now. Choose two so that we get a good range. Anything else I can show you here while we're waiting? What's this? Oh yeah, this is my photos. I should be showing you the proper page here. All right. So what do you think? We got Alison says it's been a great theme. Love the differences in numbers between countries. Yeah, some countries have their own numbers. I'd love to see some Spanish ones. I think there's they have some good ones, and Greek ones. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Never mind other countries. I guess I think this is Chris. Tell us if this is you, Chris. My favorite is the pink 𝗚𝗡𝗅𝗏𝗡𝗅𝗏𝗡 pick by Sab. I think I understand about 50% of those words. Pepto-Bismol. I guess maybe it's a sort of drink. It's a horrible fizzy drink or something. You could call it bubblegum pink as well, couldn't you? I must admit, I pinkified it a tiny bit, but it is pink. You look at it and you think, wow, that's pink. All right, so we've got corners. We've got birds. Corners is currently winning. If you like that, vote for corners yourself. If you want more birds, vote for birds. If you think blue or windows would be good, go for blue or windows. All right, go for it. Corners is currently winning. I'll check in once more, and if at the end it's still corners, I will do that. Chris, I think, yes, it's me. I tried logging into StreamYard, but something did not work. Maybe it doesn't like monsters, Chris. I also like that Jean's interesting angles on her photos, I guess you mean. Yeah. Cool. All right, so let's have a look at some of mine. Here's some of mine. No, here's some of mine. This is my current chapter. It looks like this. You'll recognize, bit of sweet relief. There's no me, because if you remember in my Paris chronicles, I do a perturbing self-portrait every 10 shots, and each chapter here has 9 pictures. So every 9 or so chapters, there's one, thankfully, without me. And this is it. So which one immediately hits you? Can you just tell me? Oh, we've got Dorothy's voting for Beatrice 88. Yeah, I like that one as well, I must admit. I still haven't managed to get around to doing a top 3 or prizes, because I just feel so uncomfortable with saying that this one is better than others. It's just nonsense. You know, they're all good. If you like them, they're good. But I think I would like to honor a few each week, apart from all of them. Which of these photographs immediately strikes you, and why? That's the question. And say something a bit sort of, you know, photographically artistic, not just, you know, it's nice, or I like the colors. Why do you like the colors? Is there a combination of the colors you like? If you say I like the composition, yeah, but what about it? What about the composition? Or maybe it stirs some emotion. Yes, but what emotion? Can you share that? That would be interesting. So I'm going to go through these and comment at any time, and I will stop and address your comments immediately as a matter of urgency. I'm just wondering if this would go bigger. I'm just going to do something here. Going to get rid of this. Going to log out, which I should have done before. Going to get rid of the bookmarks bar. Going to put this back in and see what happens. Hopefully the photograph will be even bigger. Hey, thanks for contributing. This is really exciting. It's me, Sab, in Paris, talking to you guys around the world. So Chris, I think, is saying that the purple flower stands out against the other greenish tones. Right, so you've got the flower against the other pictures, but you've also got the flower itself. Well, how do you take a good photograph of a flower? Or how do you take a striking photograph of a flower? Get in close. Otherwise, it's just a border of flowers, or it's a bunch of flowers. Flowers deserve to be up close and personal. And if you can do something even more, in other words, a flower's a flower. How many flower photographs have you seen in your life? And how exciting are they? So try and get, you know, something. A flower's okay. But if you cover the picture with the flower, you've kind of lost the subject. Within the picture, imagine there was no bee here. It would be all purple. You know, and what do you do with that? What do you think, oh yes, it's a picture of a purple flower. But you also say, so what? Well, so what? There's a bee in this one. You know, for what it's worth, there's a cute little bee sitting in the middle of this flower, which I've tried to put up to the top right a little bit, you know, not the subject slap bang in the middle, but I also had the flower to contend with. I also wanted a bit of what's underneath the purple, because then you can guess. Do you know what flower it is? It's my national, it's not a really country, it's my national flower. The country, the region I was born in, Scotland. It's a thistle. It's a thistle. I am so desperate to change my phone. I'm not a must-have, you know, the latest phone type of guy, although I'd like to, but it's pretty pointless. You know, the photographs, the phones are so good, the camera's so good. This is an iPhone 8. I take my photographs on an iPhone 8. And I, obviously now things have moved on a lot. The quality of your photographs, as long as you've got something decent, reasonable, the quality of your photographs is about 90% what's in your heart and your head and your mind's eye and your photographer's eye, not the equipment. But having said that, you want it to be, you know, you want to play with the image. You want it to be high enough quality that you can, you know, stuff pops out at you. You do want that. And I'm really starting to think my little number 8 here. I would love to have number 14, to be honest. But I'm thinking about it. Number 14 is iPhone 14 is a major upgrade to the camera. I think they went from 12 megapixels. I don't even know if this has got 12. Maybe it's got about 2. I think 14 went to about 48 megapixels. This is just ridiculous. Is it pixels, megapixels, megabytes, something like that? Anyway, a lot, a stupid lot. So you'd probably have to, memory's probably gone up as well, but you'd probably have to delete everything as soon as you get home or transfer it over to your computer. Otherwise you wouldn't have any memory left. But, you know, 48, wow. Anyway, you know, for my little camera here, it's a little one now. It was great when I got it. It's pretty cool photograph. Bearing in mind, it's reduced down. It's only 900 pixels across for the internet. Maximum size that I publish them normally is 900 pixels. And that gives you the image that you're looking at now. So, you know, not bad, not bad. Bees move around a lot. It's really, really irritating. Why can't they just stand still for a second? They do. It's like, if you didn't catch that, it's something like this. You know, that doesn't really make for a guaranteed sharp photograph, however clever your camera is. Anyway, this guy decided to, I don't know, have a poo or something, and got him almost sharp. Her. Oh my God, if I could ramble that much about a flower, we're in trouble. Any more comments? No. This is a picture of a statue. Photographically, I have a sort of get out clause, because I can say maybe the photograph isn't the most exciting ever, but I can still talk about the history of the statue in Paris. If it were just the statue, I still think it's okay. You know, her back's up against the right, her seat, as it were, goes along the bottom. There's a nice diagonal line there. You've got this real point of interest. She's got her own little angel, which is kind of cute. And for some reason or other, I've just kind of noticed this. The processing, playing around, sabification that I did meant that there's a bit of white zooming out towards the angel from the top left, which is, it's like she's holding out this crown or laurel wreath or whatever it is to the light, which is kind of cool. On a technical note, bit of over processing, which is what happens when you play around with certain apps, and you get a halo effect around any line which goes from dark to light. For example, well, look at the knee here, the dark statue on the right with the pale sky on the left. You play around with certain apps too much, push the contrast and stuff, and you get this kind of halo effect. You see it's white around the edge, and there's a kind of white around the angel. I went with it. I'm aware of it. It's a bit like teenage girls putting on about 3 tons of mascara when they discover it's a thing. And then you look at them in their mid-20s and they've put it way back, that they kind of came to their senses. It's a bit like that with these apps. And you go so crazy that you push them to the maximum thinking they're amazing. And then a few months later, you look back and you think, oh my God, why did I do that? So it's a thing. You get over it and you pull the app back so it's not too crazy. So in this case, I was aware of this danger because your photographs can look a bit amateurish if all you're doing is pushing funky apps too much. But in this case, I wanted it. It was okay. By the way, I didn't address this comment from Chris, I think, saying that the purple stands out from the other green photos. Yeah, there is tones of green in quite a few of the other photographs. Purple and green opposite each other on the color wheel. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to go on more about that. If you want to know the story of, well, I'm not sure if there was a story, but my blah blah on that, it'll be on this page sometime soon. It exists already. It's on my Facebook page. What else? So Nazanin says, lovely photo of the River Seine with the Eiffel Tower in the background. The light on the statue is impressive. This one here, I guess you're talking about. Yeah. You see, this photo has been sabified, don't you think? So I'm going for elements of interest. Even elephants, if you have any, but I didn't. So I just went for elements of interest. This has become an Eiffel Tower photograph, which is one of my themes, my recurring themes. I suggest you have a recurring theme, or several, just that you can build again and again over the months and years. Mine's the Eiffel Tower, one of them, and that's fine. But my objective is always to take different photos that have never been taken before of the Eiffel Tower. Got up close and personal to one of the statues on the Alexander III Bridge. I had a bit of a problem with the contrast because she is quite dark and she's looking towards me, and the bright sky behind meant that she became almost black. Or if I lightened her face up before I took the photograph, the sky behind the Eiffel Tower completely blew out. In other words, went completely white. So I kind of played around afterwards, tried to get some more detail back in her face. What happened as well was that the sun was, or rather I attempted to position myself so that the sun was behind her. You can see it, it's above her head, and it's getting these lovely streaks coming towards you. All that was missing was something to put in that space of water, because otherwise it would be empty. And water, I was going to say water is meant for boats. It's not. Boats are meant for water. So to make it a bit more human, well, I clicked my fingers and the boat magically appeared in exactly the position I wanted it. So there you go. Yeah, I'm pleased with it as well. I like it. I like it a lot, this one. And I also like that repetition of the pointy thing that is next to it. There was another photograph in one of my other, I think it was in the one before, where I also had the 2 pointy bits. And this shows you that you just have to move around a bit. And no, it wasn't that. That was my sort of mean and moody Just People chapter from last week, well, a couple of weeks ago now. Yeah, it was this one in the middle. You've got the lion. This was from one walk across a bridge. All these photographs that you're seeing with the statues. There's the Eiffel Tower. That was the other side of the bridge. This is what I'm talking about, where you've got the two pointy bits leading up. It's almost a perfect diagonal leading up to the edge of the lamp, which also follows the diagonal. I won't talk about the birds. I've already done that. Bloody amazing, beautiful, beautiful shot. And yeah, so come on, folks. Which are your favorites? Which do you like? Which don't you like? Is the angel in the hand, or is it two statues? Yeah, she's holding Dorothy. She's holding the angel in her hand, which is quite Funny, isn't it? It's quite strange. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. What else can I talk about? We've got 10 minutes. So this one I just thought was kind of funny. It's very it's very Paris. It's a posh Paris cafe. But it was also taken, I think, about the end of February, with Father Christmas is still trying to get in. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they don't have chimneys or something. The poor guy. He's been there for so long. He's turned into a sort of flat parody of his former self. Not too much ho 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 going on there, I'm afraid. But yeah, a lot of red and green going on there. And I also, when I wrote about this, I couldn't find too much to say about the Father Christmases in February. That was about it. So I went into a big history lesson on Salvador Allende, who was the president of the Republic of Chile until '73, when it kind of stopped being a republic and became a Pinochet military dictatorship for another 20 years or so. It's amazing what you can do. You know, when you're wandering around, went for a walk in Paris and got much more knowledgeable about the history of the country where my son's mother was born and where they were until yesterday. They just got back from Chile. Weird, isn't it? This one is just amazing. Would you, this is my question to you, can you guess what I'm going to ask you? Would you go out wearing a brown coat like this guy on the right? I mean, honestly, seriously? I mean, isn't brown so last century? Oh my God. What else is there that's interesting in this photograph? We're on a bridge. We're on a wobbly bridge. It's undulating, actually. It's really cool. You can go, you see this thing here, you can actually go down there. You can you can go doop doop doop, or you can go doop doop doop, if you see what I mean. Very interesting. This leads over to the Parc de Bercy. The other side leads over to the stunningly beautiful French National Library. And that's pretty much it, I guess. Yeah, nothing much more to say there. You know, people's clothing styles are what they are, and makes a darn good photograph, I reckon. And there I was, innocently walking. There's the said bibliothèque on the right there. You can see how amazing the architecture is. There I was, innocently minding my own business, and I almost got smacked in the face by a grotty old Leeds bus. Leeds is a town in the north of England where I didn't go to university, but I went to university at a town next to it called Bradford. Let's see if this works. I used to bring up maps many years ago. I used to bring up maps when I was talking about photographs and show you where the photograph was taken. But I won't do that, but I will do this. Imagine my surprise when, this is Britain, folks. There's Leeds. There's the Lake District, where my parents decided to move after going on holiday there for about 20 years. And that's where my new project is. Did you know I've got a new photographic and writing project on the Lake District? Well, I have. And I went to university in Bradford here. And next to it was Leeds. So I kind of know these old buses. And it was really funny just to see it in the middle of Paris. It's like, what? Leeds? Can I get a bus from the Bibliothèque Nationale de France to Leeds now? That's an interesting route. And there's a bird. One of my friends decided to make it a bit more interesting. And this is it. This was for the Wheels theme. The Wheels theme from a week or two ago. What an amazing vehicle this is. It's so cool. From the other side, it's even cooler because you've got a kind of little indented bit. You see on the top right there, it's kind of indented. So this is the driver's cabin, where this is in the old days where you didn't pay the driver. There was a separate conductor on the bus who took your money, bought your ticket, and he did this thing, went turned a handle, and out came a ticket. It was really, he was called the conductor, which is funny because in French, conducteur is the person who drives the bus, which is quite, that's what happens sometimes. You know, if we already had a word, maybe. No, we didn't have sort of conductors on buses when we were invaded in 1066 and all that. But we've taken a French word, and if we already had an English word, we used the French word, but for a slightly different thing, you know. So, you know, conduire is to drive in French. So conducteur makes sense. So, but, you know, it didn't worry us. He's in Britain now, it's the person who conducts the little machine, except they don't anymore. Yeah, it'll remind you of those classic the red double-decker buses from London, although it's not the same brand, it's slightly different, but very, very similar style. So, you know, get up close and personal with those wheels, get low down. As I say again and again, you want to make a vehicle, even a boring one, look cool. Get really down low and up close to a corner of it. And you can make even a little putt-putt vehicle look good. Too much information can kill the information. Too much color can kill a photograph. So this is good because there's only really green, 2 shades of green, and a nice red wheel. Not forgetting the elephant that is driving it, but you can't quite see the elephant now. All right, I'm getting to the end here already. Hey, that went quickly. I'll finish on a slightly sad note. This reminded me of, this sent me off on a sort of reverie. It's not me, but I had a daughter once about that size. And unfortunately, she left Paris when she was about 2. So I didn't really have many moments like this with her. Although I did do rollerblading around Paris, but on my own. So yeah, so this sent me off on a kind of reverie. You can read about it in the text if you like on today's photograph. You know, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you know, we're in touch. It's okay. But yeah, few years where I didn't do this basically with my daughter, and it's amazing, isn't it? What photographs can bring up. Like I said earlier on the 107 bus shot from Dorothy. Got down low. In fact, there were steps going down, so I was naturally low down. You got to try getting shots from low down, not from eye height, not even from chest height, from ankle height if you can, looking up. Really does something different to the photograph. The ground becomes more important in the shot, although don't take too much of the ground. You're skimming along the ground, but it's a completely different feel. If you look at this shot, we're much more down at the little girl's level. It's like we're looking straight at her and the guy's sort of above her somewhere. So this is a nice shot. If you want the photograph to be sort of from a kid's eye view, well, you've got to get the camera down to the kid's eye level, not just look down from above. Otherwise, that's, if you're looking down on their heads, then, you know, doesn't have the same feel to it. So I like this. I like the fact that he's all in black and she's in so many different colors. I think that's cute as well. Wouldn't it be funny if it was the other way around? All right, that's the end of my photos. We need a theme. What is the theme going to be? Let's go for it. This is what you are going to go out shooting next week, if you feel like it. Don't forget, you can also, going to refresh the page, you can also put any of your photographs in at any time, as long as they have, you've worked on it. You know, it's not just a snap. It's a creative photograph you've taken, you want to share with us. You can tell us where you took it, why you took it, how you took it. You can ask for advice. Any photograph at any time. Plus, there's the theme. Don't forget, it's the Creative Smartphone Photography Group. Any photograph, but make it, it's your attempt at being creative, and no one will tell you that it isn't. I promise you that. All right, last time for the theme. Let's see what it is. The theme is going to be, dun, dun, dun. I guess no one else has voted, otherwise it would have gone up to the top. Okay, we have another vote for corners because the percentage has gone up. Corners is the theme, people. Corners. People around the world are going, yeah, corners. Or no, I wanted blue. Blue will come because It's nice to have a color theme every now and then. We had red. It was a huge success. Do you remember? All right, so it's corners. We're going to take pictures of corners. I wonder what on earth is going to come up. This is amazing. I take photographs which I had no idea I was going to take just because of this. You know, in a way, we're creating our own reality. When we take creativity into our own hands, we give ourselves a theme, and we go out. We decide to go out and do something about it. And I was going to say it's like playing God. It's not exactly what I mean, but do you see what I mean? It's like we don't know what's going to happen in a week. If you decide to take part in this, things will exist, and I will be talking about things which didn't exist in that form. Maybe the pixels are already out there somewhere. I don't know, but I will be talking about things that you have created. You will have changed my life forever. If you contribute a corners photograph, I will be obliged to talk about it because I want to, and you will have changed my life. In a big way, in a small way, we don't know, do we? We have no idea. But we have this power to change people's lives. Offer a photograph to someone, one of the photographs that you've taken. Send it to someone and say, I took this and I thought of you, because give them some sort of personal reason. We might change their life. We might change their day. That's all you need to do. Change someone's day. I am going to attempt to change a few people's day this coming week with a very, very small gesture. And you can do the same. And that's what it's about, really. Photography isn't really about capturing, you know, certain settings of pixels. It's about trying to communicate what we feel inside ourselves to somebody else, sharing our emotions with someone else, touching them, which will then reflect back to us. That's all we want. Human contact. That's all we want. So if you want to take it one step further, you can join my Today's the Day group, which is exactly for that. It's about sharing a moment each day. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be small, it can be big. And you start with Today's the Day, and you say, today's the day I contributed a photograph to the creative photo group and Seb said he liked it. Or today's the day I phoned my mum. Or today's the day I passed an exam. Or today's the day I got a new camera. Or today's the day I opened the windows and it was snowing and it made me feel happy and cold at the same time. It doesn't matter. So this is a way of noticing our lives as they happen, not afterwards. So you can join this group as well if you like. There's also a website where I write articles about this very thing. There's also an email list. If you would like to get messages from me with my daily thoughts, then you can click somewhere. I don't know where. So many people contributing Today's the Days. It's really nice. I'm just going to try and find it for you. And then, yeah, you click on one of these and you go to my new website. Now, I don't know if it's new or not. It's got a few articles on it. Here it comes. And this goes direct to the article. It's not long, you see. It's based on the same photo of the day. And it's an inspirational one. That's it. That's the length of it. It's not long. You can get that part of it in your email if you like. If you go to Get Daily Inspiration, you can join the email list and you only get this. Okay, you just get the first few lines, and that's enough to inspire you every day. And there might be a meme or something in there as well. Click here, sign up, and you'll get it. And as you can see, if you go to the homepage, it's a nice little website just for celebrating our days as we live them. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. The theme is corners. Can't wait to see what you come up with. Looking forward to it. Trying to think what I'm going to do for corners. Don't know. And that's exactly how it should be. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks for commenting. Really appreciate all those lovely comments. Now it's back to my my evening with my lens and a bit of painting this evening, I think. Playing with photos and painting. Bye for now, everyone. Take care and happy snapping.